Hello, bonjour, shalom, and welcome to Hi There.
A culturally Jewish podcast powered by AJN.
Hi there, like hi there, but with a little more life in it.
18 times more life, technically.
I'm David.
And I'm Addy, and each week we sit down with interesting people to talk about culture, identity, and the stories that shape us.
Addy, how do you feel about pickles?
David, I love them.
Oh, okay. But do you like them enough to go to an entire festival devoted to them?
A festival? I mean, how many pickles are we talking?
Quite a lot. There's pickle pizza, pickle ice cream, pickle beer, pickle soda.
Okay, I guess I'm a little curious.
Good. Okay, that brings us to today's guest, Adin Wener, one of the people behind Picklefest Canada, which is coming to Calgary.
What I love is that once you start talking to Adin, you realize the festival is a lot more than just pickles.
It's about family, immigration, tradition, and why something as simple as pickles can bring back memories of your grandparents and the food you grew up with.
And apparently, people dressed as pickles as well.
Is that right? Well, I will be attending on Saturday the 29th in Calgary, the Picklefest. So if anyone is coming down, please let me know and we can join up and have a great old pickle time.
That sounds like a blast. I'm actually jealous.
You should be, but it is coming to Edmonton later on in the year. So check it out when it comes up north.
Here is our conversation with Adin Wener.
Adin, thank you for joining me today.
Pleasure to be here.
Okay, before we talk about Picklefest, I do have to ask, growing up with the last name Wener, did you ever imagine your career would somehow end up involving another classic deli food?
It's funny that this is obviously in Alberta because my family is originally on my dad's side from Vegreville, and there's actually a Wener Street there. And the house that my grandfather grew up in, he was the last of 8 kids. They moved the house, and it's now like a tea house or something. So having the last name Wener is a badge of honor. My kids are Wieners, my cousins are Wieners, but my wife, who did not take my last name, will still introduce herself as Wener, even when I'm right in front of her. So it is what it is. It doesn't have the I, but I cannot hide behind Adin Wener. There's no hiding behind.
You shouldn't hide behind Wener.
No, there could be worse names. So, and actually, funny enough, one of my wife's best friends, her dad is Wener with an I from Montreal, and his first name is Seymour.
I may know those Wieners, yes, because I'm from Montreal originally.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I want you to take me back to New York. You see a pickle festival for the first time. At what point did the thought become, I need to bring this to Canada?
Right away. So Picklefest is owned by my cousin Eli and I, and he's a Wener. And we're actually 12 years ago in New York for the first time, because we're from Vancouver, then we lived in England, visiting his twin brother, Sammy Wener. So the Wieners sort of go, and we stumble into this festival on Orchard Street, as you do in New York. You're just wandering the streets. And I've never seen people happier. And I turned to my wife, Kate. I said, I have to bring this to Toronto. There's no doubt about that. I own a brewery. We've been throwing festivals. We've been throwing beer fests. Really, I turned around and I said, Kate, everyone is happy. And that's true, David. Everybody was smiling. And for me, I call myself it sounds ridiculous, but I call myself a pickle promoter. What I love is the human connection and the stories that people have about pickles and their families and their grandparents and everything. And that's really what I love about it. So when I saw these people, everybody happy, I was like, I got to bring this. And sure enough, this will be our 4th year in Toronto, and people are happy. And Vancouver last year, people were happy. They weren't so happy about the lineups. And couldn't be more excited for Calgary because people will be smiling. So it's less about the ferment and more about the human connection that people have with pickles.
Okay, what is that? Why do pickles bring people together?
Well, I mean, do you have a pickle story in your family, David?
Do I have a pickle? Well, I could only think my bubby would always have Mrs. White pickles, and that was always the pickles that we could serve at our table, and no other pickle would do.
Right, and why is that?
Tradition, culture.
And there you go. There you have it. Everybody has a pickle story. So, Canada, especially the Jews, we are immigrants, and pickles were done out of necessity because we couldn't, we had to make our own food, or you bought cucumbers that you couldn't afford and you threw them in brine and you see what happens. In my family, my Uncle Brian, Eli's dad, has been making pickles for 50 years. And my dad would come home after a day of pickling once a year and bring home 8 jars and say, "You guys have to try these." And we were allowed one pickle a day because that's all we were allowed. So it's an immigration story. Fermentation was not done to please the masses. It was done as a way of survival, as a way to feed your family. And that's really what I love. And you'll come to Picklefest, David, and you'll see multi-generational people. You'll see grandparents with their kids and their grandkids all enjoying a pickle. And every family, whether you're Russian, Ukrainian, Jewish, Italian, there's a story about fermentation in there somewhere. And it really resonates with Canadians because, like, we are. Like, I mean, obviously I identify as a Canadian, you identify as a Canadian, so do my kids, so do my parents, but not necessarily my grandparents or the generation before that. And I think that's something that's very inherent in Canadian culture. And ferments have taken on a different life, and they're boutique. But we also, I want to say, it's not just pickles for us. We do kimchi, kefir, sourdough. The full gamut of ferment is available at Picklefest.
It almost makes me think of the movie or An American Pickle with Seth Rogen.
Yep,
I don't know if you ever saw that. Yeah.
As it comes out of the brine, and there's 25-cent pickles are selling for $18, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
The artisanal pickle. Be honest, when you first pitched Picklefest to people, how many people thought you were just completely nuts?
They still do. They still do. So even Eli, in fact, who I forced him to do Vancouver with me last year, didn't even think it was going to happen until 2 weeks before, and we were over 3,000 tickets sold. Yeah, it's crazy, but people love it, and I have a great team in Henderson that was able to throw events and throw festivals, and we executed. But again, it's really also, in the struggles we're having with Calgary, though it's happening a little bit different, is convincing the vendors to come. Because a lot of the vendors, they'll have limited edition, they have limited ferments, or they run, farmers markets, or they have a storefront. And to convince them to, like, hey, this is really good. There's going to be 4,000 people coming to Big Rock Brewery on August 29th. You're going to get your pickles and your jams and your kimchi and your kefir in front of everybody. They don't believe it. And the second year, I already have for Toronto, I have 65 vendors. I've had 45 of them. This will be year 4. As soon as I release the date, they're in because they know it's great. And the consumers that come to Picklefest, there's 3 different types of people. So how I explain Picklefest is I say it's basically a farmer's market meets the Stampede without the animals. So it's not only the best of pickles and ferments, but it's also a pickle party. People come dressed as pickles. We have vendors doing pickle pizza. They do pickle ice cream. They do pickle donuts. They have this grand gamut. And the 3 different people we get are the farmer market people. So they come early. They spend a couple $100. They get the best of what they want. Then they leave. With the multi-generational, as I talked on. And then we have the pickle party people. They come dressed as pickles. They're painted like pickles, and they're there to party. People don't think I'm that crazy anymore, to be honest.
No, it's spreading across the country, so it sounds great. And you mentioned like food festivals, right? This is different. This is not like the Stampede. There's no animals there. And food festivals, they usually celebrate the cuisine, but you mentioned this before. You celebrate the process, the fermentation. Was that intentional from the beginning?
100%. And we have a competition called Show Us Your Pickle, which is a home pickling competition. My wife runs that festival for us, that competition. Last year in Toronto, we get about 60 to 70 entries. Vancouver had 50. We're hoping to get 40 entries in Calgary. And people put in their best lacto, their best sour, their best experimental. In fact, in Vancouver, the egg won Best of Show last year, which is amazing. Somebody submitted a pickled egg. We kind of try and create the best of both worlds. We try and create where the food is serious, but you can also be silly. And I think that's what Picklefest is about.
Have you ever tried something at Picklefest and thought, absolutely not, only to end up loving it?
Well, pickle pizza for sure.
Oh, okay.
And then, honestly, I never thought that I would love deep fried pickle, but it's so good. Deep fried pickle is amazing. But there's been some misses. Look, there's been some misses. There's been some vendors who have tried. But I will tell you what's hugely popular, David, is pickle popcorn, which is literally just popcorn with pickle spice on it. So, and we do a pickle beer. I own a soft drink brand called Solly's Craft Soda, which is kosher, named after my son Solomon, Shlomo. And it does a pickle Solly's, and it flies at Picklefest. We have a pickle beer, we do pickle wine, we do pickle cocktails. So it's a really great experience. I'm really excited to bring it to Calgary. I will throw down with the Calgarians and say that Edmonton is sort of taking the lead, even though they're in October.
Oh, no.
And I think that's partly because of like the Ukrainian population and stuff, but Edmonton has been lapping Calgary. So We still have space for 5 to 10 vendors. We're looking for pickle people, smoked meat people. We're really trying to work hard on that.
I should reach out to my crews because we cannot let Edmonton win anything if it comes between us
Yes,
two cities.
yes. And I will say there are probably twice as many tickets sold and definitely more vendors. So if you could reach out to your crew, David, a call to action, blow the
Yeah.
shofar, would be appreciated.
You spent years in craft beer before, even Picklefest was the thing for you. What similarities do you see between beer culture and pickle culture?
Well, you know what? Well, that's brilliant. Well, that is a question I've never been asked before. Craft beer is much easier to start. You can open a brewery and people may or may not show up, but you can sell beer at your front door. To sell pickles, you really do need some vendors, some stores to come along. I guess to answer that question, I'm going to pivot a little bit and say that in Toronto, we have a lot of independent pickle people who literally just, out of pure passion started a pickle company. And we partner with a couple grocery store chains who support us, like Farm Boy in Ontario. We're going to do Frison Brothers in Edmonton, and they support local picklers. So it's an opportunity to kind of show your pickle to these buyers. And we've been very successful in Ontario, where some of our pickle partners like Marty's and Pickle Canadian and Briney have got their listings in grocery stores because of the experience at Picklefest.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the difference between pickles and beer? They go hand in hand. I do a pickle beer. I don't like it, but we definitely do it, and everybody drinks it. I try and marry the two, but one gets you hammered, and the other one's you can't fill up on. So I don't really know. It's a great question, David.
The pickle might sober you up after all the beer.
Well, I'm going to tell you this. So one of the treats and charms of Picklefest, you're going to come, right, to Calgary?
I will be there. I promise.
Yeah, great. I'll make sure I send you some tickets. Is for the crowd that comes to eat and drink, you can't fill up on pickles. So you could go to 10 or 15 different vendors and even just have a sample or buy a pickle on a stick, and you're good. I mean, you're salty, you're dehydrated, although brine is a hydrating factor, but you're obviously consuming a lot of salt. But it's not like when you go to a barbecue place or Taco Fest or any other festival that's very heavy on food, and you're going to have a burger and then you're done. I threw Bagel Fest. We threw a festival called Bagel, Schmears, Solly's, and Beer Fest at the brewery. And it was great, except people had 2 bagels and then they left.
Right.
You could try almost everything and then have a beer and feel good. So that's one of the, I think, the charms and treats of pickles is, you can't really eat a whole jar. I mean, some people do, but you don't fill up on them.
Oh, that's interesting. I never considered that for pickles. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a small win for the pickle people.
And you mentioned this earlier, your wife's involved, your son, you both your sons, I saw them on Instagram delivering, Solly's to different stores around Calgary. Your family seems really woven into so many of your projects. How important is that in these businesses for it to feel more like a family adventure rather than just a business?
So this is the first summer. My Solly is 21 and Jordan turns 19 this week. Solly obviously is the namesake of the soda and works in my brewery, and Jordy is my salesperson. And my wife does our graphics, and Kate obviously involved in Picklefest. And it's been the most fulfilling summer of my life. Even more fulfilling than like Solly. I talked about it with Jared. My kid got to play for Canada the Maccabee Games, which was arguably the greatest experience of my life. Was going to Israel and seeing him represent Canada. And as he came back to Toronto, and his old Jewish day school invited him to give a speech, talk to the kids, and they're like, "How did you do?" He's like, "Oh, we finished third." I was like, out of 3 teams. Family is everything, and to create something that people enjoy and is so tightly involved is amazing.
Wonderful. So yeah, your son inspired Solly's, the soda. I heard your wife also inspired Picklefest. It wasn't just your idea alone. Do you ever get like an idea first, or is your family secretly running the whole operation?
No, I wear them out. And in fact, one of the things I've been talking about is starting a pickle brand with my cousin, with Eli. We would start Wener's Pickles with the tagline, "Go on and say it." But my wife, this may be one project too many. So I have Picklefest, I have the soda brand at the brewery, and then we work with the rock band Rush. So Getty and Alex are back on tour. They're in Toronto next week, so got that whole thing, Rush Day, happening at the brewery as well. So I pretty much try to stay home on Friday nights, and we try to do Shabbat, but we're more Shab where everybody's out doing things. But Friday, I kind of collapse at 6 o'clock and wake up on Saturday. sort of how my energy runs right now.
Burning both ends of the candle, as they would say.
Yeah, yeah, but I'm actually coming to Calgary, I think next week, although WestJet just announced a strike to do some other media and
Everyone's waiting.
But I'm coming to Calgary. We're going to be adding about 4 or 5 cities next year, but Calgary is integral to Picklefest. And I think the one challenge we've incurred in Calgary, and you'll probably acknowledge this, is that unlike any other Canadian city, the Stampede is just so energy draining for the city and the people who live in it. It's really like, talk to me after Stampede, or as another friend of mine who runs events in Calgary said, you got to get to everybody in March, because once Stampede ramps up, which is 3 months before Stampede ramps up, it's just all encompassing, basically.
It does. It is an all-consuming thing. It is our big seller. Everyone comes out for Stampede. The whole city shuts down for Stampede. That might be the reason why, but there are still festivals happening across this city, even post-Stampede too. There's Korea Fest, there's Food Fest, there's Beer Fest. These things are happening across our city as well.
I often wonder, had I called Pickle something else, Pickle Palooza or Pickle Party or something, but we went with Fest. So no, we're good for tickets. I'm sure we'll sell out when the time comes. We're excited to get going. We're excited for this. We do need some more vendors, David. I'm going to be honest. We're at about 25, and I'm hoping to get about 35 to 40 vendors, because we really want people to experience everything. So if you guys know anybody out there who's hiding, please have them contact us on the website, info@picklefestcanada.com, and we'll go from there.
I just want to get back to the pickles itself. Like, if someone has never liked pickles, it's not their thing, can Picklefest convert them?
No. And I'm going to tell you this right now. People who hate pickles hate pickles. I've had so many people proudly tell me how much they hate pickles. For me, and it's not a lie, I'm about human connections, and the fact that people love telling me they hate pickles, that's fine. It's like the heel in wrestling. Suddenly I'm I don't know, Macho Man Randy Savage when he was a bad guy fighting George the Animal Steel or something. Like, people love coming up to me and telling me they hate pickles. And I have no interest, David. I have no interest in converting them. You've chosen that lane. Good for you. Go for it. So it's not my responsibility to convert people to pickles. If you hate pickles, if you love pickles, I'm there for both of you. Picklefest, you don't have to love pickles to come to Picklefest. And that's, I guess, what I tell people, just because they're so proud they hate pickles. It's like, let me tell you, it's like a Zeta talking about his grandson, scoring his first goal in hockey when he was 8 years old or something. I hate pickles. Do you know that? So no, I'm not here to convert people.
Fair. Okay, you're not converting the masses. That's fine. When someone leaves Picklefest, and let's say they do love pickles, what do you hope they're talking about on the drive home?
David, great question. What are they talking about? Wow, that was fantastic. Can't wait to do it again next year. I'm going to go to these stores and, the vendors that I met who told me where I can buy the product, whether it's Calgary Co-op or Costco, I'm going to go support these people. And that was a really unique experience and good value. That's really what I'm hoping.
Mm-hmm. I imagine your family gets together for dinner. Does everyone bring normal food for the family gatherings, or is someone always showing up with some fermented kind of carrot or a pickled soda?
My wife, we always have pickles. She always has pickles. But really what she has introduced to the three of us, the boys, is kimchi. And kimchi permeates through my family, the four of us, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It's very common. The boys come and go. They're very busy. They're very active. They both have girlfriends. It's very common for them to come in with, protein. But kimchi really ticks the vegetable dish. So I think that is something that really is now part of our family DNA. Is obviously pickles have always been there and always will. But I do feel that kimchi is something that the family has that we probably wouldn't have even thought about 3 years ago.
Yes, that's true. I have kimchi in my fridge upstairs as well. My partner is half Asian, so kimchi was always a staple in our house.
Yeah, and it's so diverse, right? Like, it's so good, and it's healthy for you. It really, and kimchi, again, like it was a poor man's thing, right? Like,
yeah.
You talk about like how did Korean fried chicken came out? Well, the masses couldn't afford to buy fresh chicken, so they were buying near expired chicken and deep frying it just to keep it fresh, right? So that's kind of the, obviously Seth Rogen's movie, but that's kind of the story of pickles is especially as Jews, it was a survival thing. It was just something that you bought cucumbers in August and you had pickles in September.
I could almost see bringing both communities together for the Kimchi Pickle Fest extravaganza of bringing these two diverse, hardworking communities, both coming from immigrant perspectives, needing these cheap substances, and having this beautiful harmony at the end of the day.
You can run that festival, David. I've got enough on my plate. I'll just stick to pickles.
You have enough. Yes, that's very fair. I wanted to do a quick lightning round with you, if you're okay, before you head out.
No problem. Whatever I can do.
All right. Here we go. I want to know, do you prefer dill or sweet?
Dill.
Crunchy or half sour?
100% crunchy.
What's the worst thing you've ever seen pickled?
Other than a finger?
I need to know that story.
The worst thing I've ever seen pickled. I mean, that's a very good question. Probably not gefilte fish, but probably some sort of fish that I've probably seen in pickle with the eye in there and stuff like that. That's probably the worst thing I've seen pickled.
Pickles on burgers, mandatory or optional?
Anybody can do what they want. For me, it's mandatory, but do what you want.
One food that should never be pickled.
Wow, this is really one food that should never. Can my wife come here for a second?
Absolutely, bring your wife in. I need to hear from her.
David, this is my wife, Kate.
Hi, Kate.
She's wearing the Solly shirt.
How's it going?
Good. You're on a podcast right now.
Hands down, the best questions ever. One thing that should never be pickled, babe.
Shoes.
No, like one food that should never be pickled.
That should never be pickled.
Great question.
Yeah, that is
matzah?
a good question. Well, matzah's not going to go anywhere. It's just going to be a
mess.
Maybe not. No, you can
Fish?
No, what's herring? Herring is pickled.
Yeah,
Fish?
in fact, we now.
Yes, it's true.
Our chicken, we buy like chicken thighs and breasts, and we just throw pickle brine in, and that's how we marinate it now.
Yeah, it's challah or matzah. Just leave it alone.
Challah. Okay, we're not pickling challah then. Kate, I hear you're the brains of this wonderful, wonderful organization.
I mean, I'm one of the brains
Thank
on
you,
board.
David.
Look, yeah. Occasionally, he'll dip in and out.
Okay.
And occasionally I will too. I absolutely love the pickle platform for people pleasing and for it's just a great accompaniment to, it's a side piece that elevates the whole thing. So whether you like it or you don't like it, people who I've met, and particularly in this festival, I've been running the Show Us Your Pickle home pickling contest. And I brought a couple friends along, and by gosh, people are like really strongly opinionated about that, and they want to be part of, I want to taste pickles and judge them. But I'll tell you, after you're testing 50 different types of pickles, it's a job.
Yeah, it's just like drinking 50 glasses of wine at the end of the day.
As long as you're leaning left or right. Yeah. David, I want to say, and I hope we can keep going, you've in 4 years asked some of the best questions I've ever been asked.
Oh, thank you so much.
Yes, it's a throwdown to Jared Shore and Don Shapiro and their podcast.
We're gonna go fighting the two Calgarian Jewish podcasts.
Yes. Nobody, you're just gonna end up with bad backs.
Sorry to interrupt, but like you are keeping Adin from some very rare sightings of Ontario cottage culture. We get 1 or 2 invites every 3-4 years. So, dude,
you're obviously not super popular. Okay,
we're not so popular. No, it's not true. But we're missing Adin for.
I will say, David. Kate will be at every pickle fest with me.
Yes,
she agreed today to come to Calgary, which is the one she was.
Great.
That's the only one I really want to.
And David actually asked a really great question about how the family's all involved, and the boys will be working Victoria Pickle Fest, which is in a couple weeks. They'll be working the Solly's booth. And Kate has been with me on this journey. And one thing I'm going to say about my wife, who's not my business partner, but we do a lot of things together, is when you find the right partner who, even though your ideas are crazy and they say go for it, that means everything in the world. So that's yeah. And her love of kimchi. Okay, I have one last question before you're gonna bring out Adin. Adin, what's the most Jewish thing you've ever seen at Picklefest?
Seymour Wener, no?
He knows Seymour Wener.
Oh, okay.
He's from Montreal. The most Jewish thing we've ever seen at Picklefest. Well, I'm going to tell you this. The very first Picklefest we had was 4 years ago in Toronto, October 21st, my birthday, and it was 2 weeks after October 7th. And for a very large community in Toronto, as you're probably aware, it was the first time a lot of people had gone out.
It was a relief.
Right.
And it was a very, relief and an opportunity for people to cry and hug and have a reason to go out, because I think a lot of people wouldn't go to a bar or even to a concert because they were still mourning what happened. But Picklefest made sense for them. It was community focused, and there was a lot of people. The very first time, everybody saying happy birthday to me, but it was the very first time that people came up and just thanked me for putting this on.
Yeah, something lighthearted to bring people together. And
Yes,
that's really
that was the most Jewish thing we
Yeah.
saw.
That's what brings.
Yeah, it was that very first year. Like I said, it was 2 weeks after October 7th.
That's really wonderful to hear that the whole community could come out. So,
well, not the whole community, the Toronto community.
Yes.
Yes. Down to the downtown Toronto community came out. Yes, let's narrow that down.
Fair. So before we leave, Adin, can you just remind us of the date that is happening in Calgary for Picklefest?
August 29th. It's at Big Rock Brewing Company. It's from, I believe, 12 to 7 p.m. Tickets are still available on the website, picklefestcanada.com. The home pickling competition will be the day before, so you have about 4 days before to drop off your pickles. We still are looking for some vendors, so if anybody out there knows somebody who, can professionally make pickled asparagus, mustard, kimchi. I think I'm still missing a kimchi vendor.
Food? What about emotional support pickles?
Emotional support pickles, crochets.
Yes,
those they sell incredible pins.
Pickle allies. Yes.
Yes, and please, David, obviously I'll send you some tickets. Come up and say hello.
Will do.
Say hello to Kate and I, and we're super excited to bring it to Calgary.
Wonderful. Adin and Kate, as a surprise guest, thank you so much for joining us, and have a great time on the cottage.
David, amazing. I'm not saying this was the best interview I've done, so really appreciate it. His questions were amazing. Like, honestly, his questions were amazing. So
thank you so much. All right, we're back. And I have to admit, I went into that interview thinking we were going to spend half an hour talking about pickles.
Technically, David, you did.
We did, but I wasn't expecting pickles to lead us to immigration, grandparents, family tradition, and even Jewish identity.
Which I think proves Adin's point. Everybody has a pickle story.
Apparently I do too. My bubby and her Mrs. White Pickles.
And now you shared it with the world.
She would be very proud. Although she'd probably want to know why I spent 30 minutes talking about pickles and didn't even eat one yet.
There's always Picklefest.
Indeed, very good point. Picklefest is coming to Calgary, and it is happening on August 29th at the Big Rock Brewery from 11 to 7 p.m. I will be there. I can't guarantee I will be there from beginning to end, but I will definitely show up and planning to have a few good pickles.
And now, here's what's happening in our community.
So we've got the Splash and Snack with PJ Library in Calgary on August 27th at the South Glenmore Splash Park.
The Jewish Senior Center in Edmonton is looking for a new executive director. Is this the job for you? Visit jewishedmonton.org/job opportunities to learn more. Deadline is August 28th.
A tasty one. Come check out Picklefest in Calgary on August 29th, a celebration of all things fermented. You can hear more about Picklefest on this episode that we just recorded.
The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers concert is coming to Alberta. Come watch the film with live orchestra backing August 28th and 29th in Calgary and September 11th and 12th in Edmonton.
Craving a good Montreal bagel? NWC BBYO is holding their annual Bagels for Breakfast fundraiser. Make your order by September 1st and enjoy fresh St. Viateur bagels delivered straight from Montreal. Why no Fairmount bagels? We'll find out more on a deep investigation.
In Calgary on Monday, September 7th, join the whole community for the Walk with Israel. Meet up with all the organizations that make up Jewish Calgary, including Chai There. We'll be there with a microphone. Come say hi. The UJA campaign launch in Edmonton kicks off on September 8th.
And finally, the Bet Halochem Heroes Among Us Gala Dinner is taking place in Calgary on September 17th. Hi There is a culturally Jewish podcast powered by AJN. For more news, visit albertajewishnews.com. Production by Real Mensch Studios.
Take care of yourselves.
Take care of each other.
And call your mother.
Hi there.